Okay, and we are live. See a couple of you guys in here already, so thank you very much for joining with us. Of course, a little bit late myself, but apologies for that. So welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the latest Manchester United news breaking tonight. So the first thing that we're going to get into is breaking in the last couple of moments. Now, of course, all day long we've seen talk that Mason Mount is the target for Manchester United. Now, this has intensified in recent hours, and there is some proper journalists, real reliable sources coming out saying that Manchester United will be making a move for Mason Mount. Now, this could be happening very soon. David Ornstein, of course, has said, breaking news, Chelsea midfielder Mason Mount is leaning towards a possible move to Man United. Talks are expected to begin in due course between the two clubs. Now, apparently, Chelsea want around 55 million for Mason Mount. Now, that seems like a lot of money. Obviously, he's a good player. He definitely has his merits as a player. I think definitely underrated by quite a lot of people, but I think Mount could be a decent signing for Manchester United, all things considered. All things considered, but I want to know what you guys think. We are running the poll as always in the comments. That is, should Man United sign Mason Mount? So let me know your thoughts on that. And that poll will run throughout the entire stream as we bring you guys the latest Manchester United news breaking tonight. So, of course, some more votes going in very early doors on Mason Mount to United. We have 3 votes. 100% of people are saying they would like to see us sign Mount. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that, guys. Keep voting on this. So this is a poll that will run throughout the entire stream. So where have these rumors really come from? Well, they started today from the Daily Mail. I believe it was Sam Muckbell broke the news this morning that Mason Mount could be a target for Manchester United. Now, of course, it came out Chelsea wanted something ridiculous like £80 million to buy Mount. I personally don't see that happening. I don't think Mount are anywhere near that much. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the poll down below on the comments. Should Man United sign Mason Mount? I'm quite conflicted on this. I don't think Mount is the most popular signing. I'm not sure if it's because he's English or if he plays for a rival club. I certainly think he's a good player. I think there's talents in there and he could be a decent option. But is he a lot better than what we have? Is he a significant upgrade on, say, Christian Eriksen? I don't think so. I'm not sure if Mason Mount, for that standard of money, 55 million, will be a lot of money out of United's transfer budget. Whether or not we go for that, I'm not sure. So that all depends. A lot will happen in the coming weeks. Of course, the takeover is the big one. That's the most important thing. We can see the first vote in there as well against Mason Mount. The first no vote. So currently 5 votes on that. 80% of people want Mount. And 20% are against signing Mason Mount in the summer. So where would Mason Mount fit in? Well, obviously he's not going to fit. He's not going to start ahead of Bruno. He's not going to start ahead of Casemiro. We know this already. Will he start ahead of Christian Eriksen? I don't know. Obviously, a lot depends on injuries and fitness. Eriksen, he is over 30 now. New comment in there from Stacey. I wouldn't mind seeing Mason Mount in Manchester United and it could wind the opposition up. Yeah, I mean, it could do. I think he's certainly a good player. He's pretty young, what, 24, 25. I think I think there's merits to signing Mason Mount. I'm not sure if he would be my first choice. But I certainly think he could be a good player for us, a good option, and he would bring us something different. He does have a knack of scoring goals in big matches. Think back to Chelsea's Champions League run last season, of course. Thomas Tuchel, he scored against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu in the Champions League. The guy does have talent. He is certainly a good player. It's whether or not he's the right fit for United. I think there's better options out there. And if we're going to spend 55 million on a Mason Mount, maybe we would be better spending an extra 15 million to go get Moses Caicedo or someone like that from Brighton or a team like that. That's my opinion. But you guys, let me know your thoughts on the poll as well. Quite divided already. Last night we ran a poll, of course, on Kim Min Jae, and I believe 100% of people out of like 160 votes wanted Kim. I don't think Mason Mount will get that level of support. It's whether or not we want to go for it. I mean, Stacey does have a good point there. He is certainly a decent player, and it would wind the opposition up. He would definitely get a lot of boos at Chelsea, but he does seem to want to leave Chelsea this summer. Only 1 year left on his contract as well, so perhaps we could get a decent deal on Mason Mount, of course. So, of course, further news has been breaking all day around this, and this really is the big talking point. This is the big news around United. Stacey in there with another comment. I can just see it in front of me. He might be the only option, though. He might be. certainly I do think he could be a very good option. I wouldn't be against the signing. I think if we brought him in, we probably need another midfielder on top of that. I think Mount, while he certainly has his qualities, I want to get a backup for Casemiro in this transfer window, because Casemiro, we can see in recent weeks when he's had more of a rest and had some time off, he certainly plays a lot better. I think if we go out, maybe get like a Livea from Southampton, could be a very good option. So, second quote going into the comments there for you guys. So, Manchester United believe they have a strong chance of signing Mason Mount, who is prepared to leave Chelsea, who want at least 60 million for him. So, I think it will come down to budget. I'm not sure on this one. I am a little bit conflicted. Obviously, people want the likes of Enzo Lafay, perhaps, would be a really good option. Come in a little bit cheaper, would allow us to spend more money in terms of a striker. But it all depends. It certainly will be an interesting transfer window. It is starting to get to that part of the season. I'm sure you guys are seeing it as well. Where all of a sudden all these crazy links are coming out. First, it was Mbappe last week. Now it's Neymar. Mason Mount certainly seems a lot more realistic. Was talk as well today coming from Sports Bild in Germany that Jeremy Frimpong could be a target and would like to join Manchester United. A lot of that depends on sales and outgoings. I think United can really raise a bit of money this summer transfer window. I think selling the likes Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Dean Henderson, who Nottingham Forest want to pay 30 million for Dean Henderson. I say let him have it, go for it, man. But yeah, so this is the big talking point at the moment. Now, of course, I was coming on here getting ready to do another look at the takeover on the deadline that is coming up, and we will get to that in just a moment. But I think it's only fair that we talk about the current news, what's breaking at the moment, and that is Mason Mount, Manchester United. And I think he could be a good fit. I'm not sure if he will be the only option, but I definitely think in terms of what we need, kind of box to box, hard-working midfielder, somebody who kind of fits in between what Casemiro does, what Bruno Fernandes does. I think Mount could be a good option. Very versatile as well. Can play further forward as well if needed. Means we can rest Bruno if it comes to that, or if he gets suspended. And I think he could be a really good option for United. But guys, let me know your thoughts. Keep voting on the poll down below. Definitely expecting a little bit of a divided response on the poll tonight. Obviously, last night everybody wanted to sign Kim Min Jae. I don't blame you guys whatsoever. Currently working on a video for Kim, and he looks exceptional in terms of the stats and what I've watched of him. What a player he could be for United. So Jacob Steinberg, more comments on Mason Mount. He wants athleticism in the midfield. Is a big fan of Mason Mount's versatility and his work rate. And United are also interested in Mateo Kovacic and could rival Arsenal and Newcastle with a bid for Declan Rice. So certainly that midfield area is somewhere Eric Ten Hag wants to strengthen. He wants to work on that midfield, and I'm not blaming him whatsoever. I definitely think midfield is a key position for United in this upcoming transfer window. But Mateo Kovacic could be an interesting player, a player who a couple of seasons ago was amongst some of the best in the entire Premier League. Obviously, he's declined a little bit. He has reached the age of 30, a little bit injury prone, but he could be another good option. Declan Rice, a player I am very excited about, and I think could be absolutely fantastic at United. We've seen his overall progression this year. He's gone from more of a holding midfielder into someone capable of bursting forward, getting goals, making things happen further up the pitch. And I think alongside Casemiro, what a pivot that would be. We will be so secure, and that would allow us to really start to build a team that can hold the ball, do things with it, begin to shape possession a little bit better. But the topic of conversation for tonight, of course, is Mason Mount first and foremost. Before we get stuck into if, buts, and maybes regarding other players, we have concrete links to Mason Mount. So whenever the likes of Romano or David Ornstein speak, United fans, we listen, because as we know, United, we get linked to so many players, and a lot of it's just made up. But when those guys speak, we listen. And if David Ornstein has said that there is a chance of United signing Mason Mount, and that Mason Mount would like the move, I think we have to listen. I think we have to react to that. Take that as fact. We know we need a midfielder. We know Mason Mount will want to leave Chelsea this year or next year on a free transfer. We also know that he definitely fits into what Eric Ten Hag wants. And if that's what Ten Hag wants, if that's the way we want to bring this team, I guess I'm supportive of it. Eric Ten Hag, I genuinely don't think he has got a single signing wrong so far, from Casemiro to Anthony to Lissandro Martinez, Malacia, Ericsson. All have been very, very good signings. And if he thinks Mason Mount can add a lot to this team, if he thinks Mount can come in and make a real difference, I think he could be a great option. I think he really, really might start to shape this team. So with that in mind, guys, we're quickly going to move on to the next point of interest, the next big piece of news breaking from Manchester United, and it's regarding the takeover. Finally, we're getting some updates on the takeover this week. So yes, in terms of the takeover, as the title says, there is a deadline on Friday. Now, it emerged last night from the Independent, of course, that by the end of the week, United wanted to name a preferred bidder. Now, for anybody not familiar or anybody wondering what preferred bidder would look like at United, what does that mean? It means that basically this is the guy who they want to sell the club to, be it Qatar and Sheikh Jassim, or be it Jim Radcliffe. That is the man they want to sell the club to, and from that point they will enter into separate negotiations. So there will be more bids going in pretty quickly in terms of that once a preferred bidder is named. Now, last night we run a poll for the last 20 minutes or so of the stream, and I believe 100 people voted. Everybody voted that they wanted Qatar and Sheikh Jassim to buy United. Now, we will run that later in the show, of course, as well. But let me know your guys' thoughts. Do you think Qatar will buy Manchester United? Will it be Radcliffe? Let me know down below. And as well, anyone else joining in, if you want to vote on the poll running in the comments at the moment, that is whether United should sign Mason Mount. Chelsea, of course, big rumours coming out today. But back to the takeover. Qatar are apparently hopeful. Now, this has come out from a couple of different sources. We seen last week, of course, when the Glazers were in London for the Women's FA Cup final, there was talk that the Glazers were staying at a Qatari-owned hotel. And this turned out to be true, and it was only a day or two later that another bid went in from Qatar. Now, we covered last night, Qatar would be looking at making a fifth bid. Now, their fourth bid was $5.5 billion. Have to think that this bid will be 6 billion and that they finally will pay exactly what the Glazers will want. Obviously, it means more money for the Glazers, but if it means they're gone in their entirety, I think that is only a good thing for United. That's the big problem I have with Radcliffe's bid, is him looking to keep the Glazers on. I would be concerned about that overall. Certainly, we don't want them at the club anymore. I know you guys don't as well. But yes, getting back to the takeover, getting back to the big taking point. Regarding that, Friday will be the deadline where a preferred bidder will be named, and that is so big, because finally we're moving on with this. Now, this process, it started back way back in October when the Glazers announced they wanted to seek strategic investment opportunities. From then, it was meant to be over by around March time. It's dragged on for months upon months, but as the Independent have said, there is a preferred bidder to be named by the end of the week. That is finally a sign of progress. That is finally something for United fans to get excited about as well. But yeah, big news, big news for United. Like a massive day of news coming out. First of all, Mason Mount, Harry Kane updates are out there as well. Diogo Dalot is also close to signing a new contract at United, something we will cover in just a moment's time. But in terms of the takeover, in terms of where we stand at the moment, have to think something is coming. You have to think that very soon we're going to have some sort of concrete information, some sort of evidence that'll suggest it one way or another. And finally, we can get into our summer transfer window, because as we said last night, and as many people said in the comments, the Glazers are screwing the club over again, screwing Ten Hag over by ruining another transfer. Of course, so Sheikh Jassim allegedly is considering buying another club if takeover bid fails. I think that's just an negotiation tactic. There's no way he's going to go from wanting to buy Man United to wanting to buy West Ham. But guys, keep letting me know your thoughts down below. Keep your comments coming in and keep voting on the poll. Would you like to see United sign Mason Mount in summer? That is the poll running at the moment. So plenty of people joining in. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. As always, guys, great to have you with us on a Wednesday night. And of course, we will be live tomorrow as well with a live reaction to the match against Chelsea. A very big match tomorrow, which hopefully will see United finally get that Champions League place. We only need 1 point. I think we can beat Chelsea tomorrow and do just that. So, in terms of the takeover, in terms of the big news surrounding United, where do we currently stand? Obviously, preferred bidder to be named by the end of the week. On top of that, parties are allegedly hopeful of their latest bid being accepted. I think we are moving towards resolution now. Of course, a couple of weeks ago there was big talk that Radcliffe was leading the race, and in terms of that, that the Glazers could stay on and make some money off Manchester United while Radcliffe ran the club. That's something we really don't want as fans. That's really something that we definitely want to avoid moving forward. The Glazers, we need to get rid of those guys. We need them out of the club, and that's going to be the big thing. So, um, will it happen? We hope so. So, I'll just get that quickly into the comments for you guys to see as well. New comment in there as well from Satwan. Very good to see you again, my friend. I think you were on the show last night. Really appreciated the support last night, and great to see you back for tonight's show as well. He says Glazers out. Absolutely, we are all Glazers out here on the channel. I don't think anybody who's a proper United fan wants the Glazers at the club anymore. I don't think anybody who cares about this club, about the history of the club, where we're going in future, would wants the Glazers here. Now, of course, there was a couple of people trolling last night. We always get a couple of them, but even they were very, very quiet in terms of the Glazers staying at Manchester United. So, getting that back into the comments. So that is the news coming out from the Independent. United expect a preferred bidder by the end of the week. That's a massive development. That is something very positive. Means that we can finally start to move forward, because first of all, there was only meant to be one betting stage. Then there was a second, and a third, and a fourth. And now we're going to have a preferred bidder. Finally, we're moving forward. Can see some more people joining into the stream. Thank you very much for joining with us, guys. If you guys want to let me know on the poll in the comments that is reacting to the latest Man United news, and that is whether we should sign Mason Mount in summer. At the moment, 75% of people are saying yes. So obviously some Mason Mount fans out there on the United Philosophy community. Great to have you guys with us as always. So with that in mind, let's go back to the main headline of tonight's show, the main talking point. That, of course, is Mason. So Mount, of course, we can see from the comments. I have pinned it in there so you guys can see it all stream long. And that's a big one coming from David Ornstein. And that is, he is leaning towards a move to Manchester United. Now, there's other clubs in the mix. There is Arsenal, there is Newcastle in the mix. Of course, Chelsea will want to keep him as well, try get him a new contract. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen. Personally, I wouldn't. I do think Mount will leave Chelsea, and I think at United, in terms of what we need in our midfield, he could be a good option. I think Stacey had said earlier on the show that could see him in the United kit. He might be one of the only options, and he definitely would wind up the rival fans. I think that's a good positive. We do like a bit of banter, a bit of a bit of stick for opposition fans, but I do think Mount as a player would fit quite nicely with what Ten Hag needs. Now, he wouldn't come in as a player to sit alongside Casemiro. Make no mistake about it, Mount wouldn't be replacing Casemiro in the team. He will not be replacing Bruno Fernandes either. But where does he fit in? That leaves one midfield space. That is where Christian Eriksen currently plays for United. And it's a toss-up between Mount and Eriksen, whilst I think Eriksen is far, far better in terms of his ability, what he can do with the ball, his creation, ability to make passes, find assists. I think Mount definitely does offer something to United. I think his pressing, his work rate, his athleticism could definitely help Manchester United. If we want to be a pressing team, we need hard workers in there, and Mason Mount certainly is those. But some more people joining in. If you guys want to let me know your thoughts on Mason Mount and should United sign him, get your vote in on the poll. At the moment, 77% of people want us to sign Mount, which is actually higher than I thought it would be. I didn't think Mount would be the most popular of signings. I feel like people want to see like an Enzo Lafay or a Frankie de Jong perhaps come into United. Maybe we need to be realistic. Maybe the Premier League experience of Mount, he's obviously knows a lot of United players. Rashford, Luke Shaw from England, Judy. Maybe he could be a very good fit and he could come in very quickly, settle down in Manchester and start to be a real proper player for United. That will be interesting. Comment in there from Boomy. At Ajax, I watched Ten Hag. He made weird signings like Sebastian Haller, who scored the most goals in the Champions League. I accept him, but only if it's 50, 55 million. If they want 80 million, go get Barella. Yes, absolutely, Boomy. I said this as well. Just a little bit. I think 50 million, 55, that's a very fair deal. I think that's a a good price for a player of his quality. If you're talking 80 million, there's better players out there. Barella is definitely one of them. If for 80 million, you probably get Caicedo. You could maybe get Frankie de Jong if he wanted to come. I think we could definitely do a lot better for that quality of money for that. If it's 40, 45, 50 million, I think that's a good deal. I mean, at the end of the day, Chelsea have to consider the fact that Mason Mount only has 1 year left on his contract, and I think that has to be taken into account whenever talking about prices. I think United will bring that up, certainly in negotiations, and it's all about whether Chelsea will accept it. Now, Chelsea, we know those guys love money, that they can spend so much money and everything seems to be fine with it. There seems to be no problem. It's whether or not they need money coming in. Because if they don't, and let's face it, they could easily spend 80, 90 million buying another midfielder to replace Mount. They might just say, we want 80 million. We don't care if he walks away on a free deal. They, that might be the position they take, and it will be interesting to see what happens in regards to that. And as well, something that has been breaking in the last couple of hours from Manchester United. We're going to talk about it right now, and this is from Fabrizio Romano himself. That is, Diogo Dalot is very close to signing a new contract. So Dalot, of course, only 1 year left on his contract. It will expire next summer. We are very close to getting a new deal over the line for Dalot. Now, I think what that is a real indication of who Eric Ten Hag sees as his first choice right back. Of course, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's played well this season, no doubt about it. The resurgence from a player who, in the first couple of months of the season, did not play at all, to a player who, starting in the League Cup final for us, is starting probably in the FA Cup final. Definitely very good for him, of course. But this new contract for Dalot, maybe that's a backing from Eric Ten Hag saying, I want you to be the new right back next season. I want you to be the first choice. I think it could be an interesting deal. I'm a big fan of Dalot. I think he's a good player. Does certainly have things he needs to work on in terms of his overall game. I think crossing needs work and he could produce more in terms of assists in the final third. But he's a good player, a hard-working player, and he has been there a while, very settled in, probably very popular in the dressing room as well. So Fabrizio Romano, of course, has said that Dalot is very close to signing a new contract at Manchester United. We will get that into the chat as well for you guys. We always do like to leave a record for everything we say on the show. A lot of people, when they come on the lives and all, they kind of just make things up and don't keep any kind of record. I like to show you guys what I'm talking about when we're talking about it. So Dalot, new contract. Let me know your thoughts on that one, guys. Should Dalot be getting a new contract? Or should we go out and sign a new right back? Of course, talk of Jeremy Frimpong potentially coming to Manchester United summer. That could be an interesting move. I'm a big fan of Frimpong. We did a video on him a couple of weeks ago. Certainly one of the best attacking right backs and full backs in all of Europe. But there are questions over his defensive work. Certainly very weak in the air. I think Dalot probably stronger defensively. Definitely not better in terms of his offensive output. But for where United are at the moment, we need good defenders. We're keeping a lot of clean sheets in the league. David De Gea, Golden Glove, perfect example of that. That's why we need Diogo Dalot to stay, and I think that's why Wan-Bissaka will stay. But I can see more people joining in. Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to the channel if you guys are new, and if you want to get voting on the poll on the main conversation of tonight's show, that is Mason Mount. Should United be signing him from Chelsea? As Bimmy said, for around 50, 55 million, that's a good deal. That's probably fair enough. You would take him for that. If they want 80 million, we can get somebody better for that price. And is Mason Mount better than a Barella or a Caicedo, a Frankie de Jong perhaps? No, he's not. He's not that level, and I don't think he ever will be. Can he be a good player for us? Yes, I certainly think so. But guys, keep voting on that poll. 77% of people want to see United sign Mason Mount in summer, so that's a little bit higher than I thought it was going to be. We'll see what happens. I think it will certainly be interesting. I think it'll definitely be an interesting transfer window. It's definitely getting to that stage of the season where we're seeing the crazy links coming in. Neymar coming to United, like Mbappe, like people like that. We will start to see these stupid links come out. We won't be signing Neymar. We won't be signing Mbappe. We might be signing Harry Kane. We might be signing Mason Mount. All that remains to be seen. And it all comes back to one thing and one thing alone at the club. And that is the Takeover. Now, I'm sure you guys are sick of it. I am very fed up with Takeover. It's been going on for so long, but it still remains one of the most important aspects of the club, one of the most important things going on. Comment from Bimmy: do you guys know he can play on the wing? In fact, he's better winger. I think Eric Ten Hag is going to use him as an Anthony challenger, and that is Frimpong. Yeah, I mean Frimpong, he kind of has been playing in like a five at the back, wing back type system, but he has certainly come on a lot in terms of his defensive and his offensive work, and he could be a challenger for Anthony. He would offer something different going down that wing, somebody who can cross the ball, maybe get in the box, score a couple of goals. You comment in there as well: is Greenwood ready for Man United? Assuming that's about Mason Greenwood. At the moment, we don't know what is happening in regards to that. Obviously, very serious allegations were made. No prosecution was made, and the Crown Prosecution Service did drop the case. So all that remains to be seen. United are meant to be doing an internal investigation. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I know you guys don't know either. I think a lot of that all comes down to what the sponsorship at the club want. If the sponsors don't want him there, I feel like United probably will get rid of him. A lot of that remains to be seen. It will certainly be interesting to see what happens with Greenwood. Obviously, such a talented young player at one stage, made some very bad mistakes and very bad decisions off the pitch, seemingly. And it all depends from there. It will certainly be interesting. That is something to keep an eye on. I do expect resolution to that across the summer. Either he will be let go of his contract, sold to somebody else, or brought back into the team. One of those three things are going to happen, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not 100% sure. But what we can talk about is the fact we can talk about what is definitely happening at the moment, and that is Mason Mount, Manchester United. So, just a quick recap for everybody who has joined in with the stream in the last couple of minutes. So, all this came out this morning. Now, it came out from Jacob Steinberg initially, who said Manchester United wanted to pursue a deal for Mason Mount, and he could be coming to Manchester United. They believe they have a strong chance to sign Mount. He is prepared to leave Chelsea, and they want at least £60 million for him. Now, as people have said in the comments, he is a good player. He definitely fits in quite well with what Eric Ten Hag wants to do at Manchester United. It all depends on the price tag for me. I think 50 million, I think that's fair. I think I would pay that. In terms of 60 million, you're starting to question it. If it's anything above 60 million for a player with 1 year left on his contract, you have to seriously think we can do better than this. If we're spending 60 million on Mason Mount, we may as well spend 80 million on Barella or a Declan Rice or Caicedo or De Jong or somebody of that quality who would come in and make a real difference in Manchester United. So obviously we can see as well from Jacob Steinberg, Ten Hag wants more athleticism in midfield. Now this is something I definitely agree with. I think looking at how we've been playing this season, a lot of it has been good, but we lack that sort of pressing style that we want to have, that Eric Ten Hag demands from his players. I don't think we're going to get it out of Casemiro and Eriksen as a midfield too. I just don't think the energy is there, especially from Eriksen. Could Mount come in inside, be a big difference maker? I think so. I think there's a reason why Jurgen Klopp wants him at Liverpool, and that's because he's a hard-working player, works hard, presses hard, and is overall a pretty good player, a pretty talented player, and definitely will offer something. Some comments coming in there. I can see Lucky Singh is in the comment. Welcome, man. Good to see you back. Are Qataris taking Man United or Jim was a new comment. At the moment, we do not know, and we do have confirmation of that, my friend, and that was on Friday. Sorry, or unfortunately, it isn't the end of the week just yet. But on Friday, there will be a preferred bidder named for Manchester United. Now, whether that's made public or not, we do not know. But what that means, of course, is that either Tar or Jim will go into private negotiations with the Glazers. A price will be set, bids will be made, and finally the club will be sold. Lucky Singh's in there, guys. A lot of players being linked with us because of Steel being close. I know there's been maybe, man, maybe you're right after all, Lucky. Lucky Singh, that is absolutely possible. It could all be spin. I think when you see talk of us buying like a Neymar or an Mbappe, stuff like that, that's definitely spin. That's definitely put out there to keep people excited. And they know that we kind of just eat this stuff up. We love the transfer window. All football fans do. It's such an exciting time. But the thought of us going out and buying Neymar or Mbappe, you have to think, yeah, this is just somebody trying to tell us some good news to keep us happy. I'm not sure if Mason Mount is that. I don't think he is quite the big name that keeps the fans quiet and keeps the Glazers able to take over and continue running United until they get enough money out of Qatar or Jim Radcliffe. I don't think Mount's that kind of guy. And I think in terms of looking at the people coming out saying it, you have David Ornstein saying that we want to buy him and he wants to come to United. I think there's definitely something in this. I think there's potential here for a transfer. Just whether or not that happens. Oh, honestly, I'm not sure if it will happen, but we are running a poll. If you guys want to let me know your thoughts on that, the poll is in the comments, and that is whether or not you think United should sign Mason Mount in summer. So if you guys want to let me know your thoughts on that, currently 75% of people are in favour of Mason Mount coming to Manchester United. But if you guys want to keep letting me know your thoughts, get your voices in, of course, fully interactive community as well. Everybody, we all get on well with each other. We all talk to each other and we all engage in the comments. And of course, every comment gets read out as well. Something I do feel very passionate about is you guys take the effort, time out of your day to watch me. Very least I can do for you guys is at least read your comments, talk to you guys, and let me know your thoughts. Really, overall, Mason Mount could be a very good signing for United. It's just gonna come down to price tag for me. I think people have said in the comments if it's for 50, 55 million, that's a good deal. If it's for anything more, there are better players out there. And I'm not doubting his quality. I do think he can add quite a lot to the team. Let's just see what happens on that one. New comment in there, Lucky saying, I don't know where we could get the best out of Mount. You know, that's a question, and that is something that I have been wondering myself because Mason Mount as a player, he's not like a Casemiro who will sit back and protect the back line and hold the midfield. Not a Bruno Fernandes either, so he will not create lots of chances for his teammates. But he is something kind of in between. He's something different whether or not you're happy with Eriksen and Casemiro at midfield too. Now, I love Eriksen. I think he's a very good player, and we've done very well to get him for free. All depends what Erik Ten Hag wants. I mean, Mount could come in definitely younger, more fit than Eriksen could put on some pressing and work hard for the team. His athleticism is very good. All depends on what Erik Ten Hag sees in Mason Mount. Personally, for myself, wasn't a move I was like going into the summer thinking, yeah, let's go get Mount. Mount's the guy we need to sign to make our midfield even better. I didn't think that at the start of the window, and I don't really feel like it now. I don't think he is the kind of midfielder that's going to make a massive difference. I might be proved wrong. Maybe United sign Mount and he goes on to be one of our best players next season and we win some big trophies and he's definitely helped us. If he comes, I want him to prove me wrong. Certainly do think there is potential in Mount. I think he could be a good option for United. But with that in mind, guys, we're going to have a look at the rest of the Manchester United transfer news, something I know you guys always look forward to on the shows, and that is the transfer news section. So, obviously, the big talk, of course, is Mason Mount coming to Manchester United, but there are other rumours coming out. Now, last night, it was revealed by ESPN, I believe, that Dusan Vlahovic was a target for Manchester United, something that I know a couple of people will be very excited about in the comments. But the big one for me at the moment is Harry Kane. Now, Harry Kane, of course, one of the best strikers in the world at this present moment. Now, how long Harry Kane can be one of the best strikers, that's up for debate. Harry Kane is coming up to 30. He is getting a little bit older. He is potentially going to start picking up injuries, and he might only last 2 or 3 seasons at the very top level. But we do have the quote in there from Fabrizio Romano. So Romano has said Erik Ten Hag considers Harry Kane to be the perfect striker for the project at Man United. But no negotiations as it stands, as it depends on Tottenham. Now, Tottenham, a very hard team to deal with. As we know, Daniel Levy, he's a hard guy to talk to. He will want every last penny out of Manchester United if we come looking for Harry Kane. It's whether or not we're going to have the money, whether or not we can make that happen. Do I think Harry Kane adds a lot to this team? Yes. I think his goals, ability to get on the ball, make things happen as well. His passing is brilliant. Could be a very good option. Obviously, a lot of people want Victor Osimhen at the club. I think Osimhen could be fantastic. Rumours have come out today that Napoli wants £150 million for Osimhen. So that's a massive, massive transfer fee as well. So we obviously have to put that into consideration. Any more thoughts, guys? Let me know down below. Lucky Singh's in there. Daniel Levy will always ask a high price. Absolutely, he will. He is a very shrewd businessman. He will want every penny out of Manchester United. And even though Harry Kane only has a year left on his contract, he won't take anything less than £100 million. But I can see more people joining in, guys. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. If you guys are new and you want, let me know what you think on Mason Mount. There's a poll running in the comments. 75% of people are in favour of signing Manchester United signing Mason Mount. A lot of M's. I'm kind of getting tongue twisted a bit. But yeah, Daniel Levy, obviously very tough guy to negotiate. He knows what he wants in terms of transfers. He will want a lot of money, as Lucky has very, very correctly said. For me, it's kind of a toss-up. Harry Kane, was he is fantastic? Was he certainly one of the best in the league? Whether or not he has the long-term longevity we need. We want a long-term striker. We want somebody to come in, not just for a couple of seasons, but for 5 or 6 years. We've had short-term strikers. We've had Cavani, Ibrahimovic, even Ronaldo. Let's get somebody in who is going to be here for more than 5 years, scoring goals for Manchester United. That's what we need. That's why I'd be more in favour of signing an Osimhen or a Gonzalo Ramos, maybe even a Dusan Vlahovic as well. Somebody like that to come in who is young, can grow into the team, can grow into Erik ten Hag's system. I think that's what we really need. Obviously, if Harry Kane was a couple of years younger, I think perfect signing for Manchester United. But another transfer news rumor that has come out from Fabrizio Romano, and that is Adrien Rabiot. Now, of course, last season, right before we went out and bought Casemiro, there was talk of us looking Adrien Rabiot, and this a move was very close until his mother got very greedy. His mother got very greedy in negotiations. Now, his mother is his agent. She wanted a lot of money out of United. We weren't willing to pay for it, and the move collapsed. Ultimately, we got the best out of that move because we bought Casemiro, still the best defensive midfielder in the world, in my opinion, and we got a lot better because of it. Lucky Singh has said, I like Kolo Muani and Ansu Fati. Yes, two very good players, and there is, of course, talk that United would be interested in Kolo Muani. Could be a very good option for United. I was impressed with him this season in the Bundesliga. I think he was good at the World Cup as well. Definitely showed a lot of promise. He is still quite young. I think Kolo Muani could be a very, very good signing for Manchester United. As well as that, Ansu Fati, definitely very exciting. All depends on his injuries. I think he has been quite injured, certainly this season for Barcelona. So he could be an option. He could come in maybe. I honestly don't know that much about Ansu Fati. I know he plays off the left, attacking winger. He will cut in, look for shots. We do already have Rashford, Garnacho in that position. I don't know if Fati is the player we should go for, but he certainly could offer something different. As we know, City, like Man City, have what, Jack Grealish, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Phil Foden, all on the wings. Maybe we can go out and bring some other wingers in as well. But the key players, the key areas we have to strengthen in, without a doubt, has to be striker for me. We need goals in, because we have created so many chances. Bruno Fernandes has the most chances created in all of Europe this season and only has 12 assists. I mean, you can tell Bruno has been setting up Weghorst all season, because if he had any sort of a decent striker in front of him, certainly we'd definitely have a lot more goals. Lucky Singh, 2 strikers key in that. Yes, and that is something we wanted to talk on and just touch on really briefly. Has been rumoured all week that we want to go out and bring not 1 but 2 strikers in. Bring in one striker in his prime, the best years of his career and bring in a young player. Lucky's saying just needs shot away. Yeah, absolutely, man. Uh, yeah, so two strikers. Yes, definitely agree with that. I think if we look, maybe if we're going to bring in like a Harry Kane and maybe like Gift Orban, could be a very good option, or even Evan Ferguson, but I don't think we're going to buy him. I think he will stay at Brighton, although I am a big fan of Evan Ferguson's. Overall, I do expect a big transfer window, and this is something I want to cover in a video in depth. Whenever we look at the players we could be signing this summer, selling, Scott McTominay, that's 20, 30 million. Harry Maguire, probably 20 to 30 million. Dean Henderson, 30 million. That's a lot of money we can add to our transfer budget. If we have 150 million and we could raise, what, 60, 70 million in sales, that means we can spend over 200 million pounds. That is massive. And whatever way we look at it, I think this will be the last window where we are really concerned about sales for money coming in. I do expect new ownership to put a lot of money into the club, be it Radcliffe, be it QATAR. I think this could be the last summer for United in terms of smaller transfer budget. I think we can genuinely blow teams out of the water. When you consider the size of Manchester United as a club, the money we bring in, we already we already spend 100 million pounds every single year just paying off the debt the Glazers put on the club. If you have 100 million pound extra that you can spend on transfers, what a difference that could make. Inter Milan Maguire interest, says Lucky Singh. Not sure about that. I haven't seen too much in terms of Harry Maguire going to Inter Milan. It wouldn't be a bad move for him. He would be playing in the Champions League. I do feel like he would fit in very nicely at like a Newcastle or a West Ham. I feel like he could be that type of player. Inter Milan, I mean, it could be interesting. Chris Smalling did well in. Chris Smalling has done very well in Italy, playing for Roma, of course. New comment in there from Don Bosco. Yes, but not for 55 million. I'm assuming that's about Mason Mount. I think I do agree with you, and I think Mount, although definitely a good player, if we're looking at over 50, 60 million, that's too much for me. I think Mount, a fair value would be what, maybe 40, 45 million. I mean, you wouldn't say he's any better than, say, Ruben Neves. You wouldn't say he's much better than other players who've gone for that sort of money in the Premier League. I don't think over 50 million is good business. And I think if we're spending, what, like 60, 70 million trying to buy Mount, take that money and buy Barella from Inter or Frankie de Jong or Declan Rice, Moses Caicedo, somebody like that, Alexis McAllister. Go buy somebody like that. That's what we should be doing. I think if we can get Mount for a relatively small fee, that could be a good option. But I don't think Mason Mount 60 million plus is not a good deal in my opinion. But guys, keep voting on the poll. Let me know your thoughts down below as well. Plenty of people getting involved now as well on the stream. So very good to have you guys with me here as always. And we will be live as well tomorrow. So make sure you stick around for that. That's in terms of Man United versus Chelsea. We always do live reactions after the match, and hopefully we'll be celebrating United finishing in the top 4 places. Something so important to what we want to do as a club. If we can go out, finish top 4, that means we have an even bigger transfer budget for the season coming up. We only need 1 point. We only have to beat Chelsea, and then we can finish in 3rd place above Newcastle. Let's get the job done. Let's go out. Let's finish in the top 4 and have a very exciting transfer window. Sure, you guys are very excited for it. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to bringing it all on the channel here. Of course, we will be covering the entire transfer window. A big task coming up, but one I'm looking forward to. So plenty more votes are going in on the poll, and we can see 67% of people want us to sign Mason Mount and 33% say no. So that's a 2/3 split in favor of buying Mason Mount. Lucky Singh in there again with another comment. We looking to win tomorrow? We just need shots in. Yes, I think shots very important. Now, I'm sure you guys watching United at the moment, you've noticed we go out, we have a lot of strange shots from far off areas that don't go in. I think, yes, more shots, but what we also need is shots in good areas. And we do that by being good on the ball, being composed. I think having Rashford back for tomorrow will be a big one. has been training all week, is over his injury, over his illness. That's good because we have 3 big matches coming up. We want to finish as high up the league possible. If we finish third place, that's good for me because it means we're not playing an extra qualifying round in the Champions League. And of course, the big one, we have to go out. We have to beat Man City. We need to transition in the box. Yes, we do. And I think that's a very good tactical point that you've raised there, Lucky. Lucky Singh, I do agree with that. If we can transition the ball in the box, have better shots, we can definitely do better. And I think Mount could be a very good player for doing that. I think when we look at how Mount plays his game, how he plays, very high energy, very high intensity, hard-working player. Certainly does have his qualities. He can score goals as well. Could be a good option for the right fee. That's what the most important thing is. I think Mason Mount, in terms of his overall ability, you're probably looking at like a £50 million player. I think that comes down a lot when you consider he only has 1 year left on his contract. So I think a fair value would be about 40 million. Whether we go out and get him for 40 million, I doubt it. Lucky Singh and says that's where concentrating we have to do. Yes, I do feel like we are very rushed in the box. We do definitely waste a lot of chances, and it is frustrating watching United sometimes. But I think with Rashford back, we can get him his 30th goal of the season tomorrow. He loves a goal against Chelsea. We love a goal against Chelsea. Although we have not beaten Chelsea in a while, a lot of draws in that run. Let's go out and put that right tomorrow. Let's beat them at Old Trafford. Our home form is very good. And I back us. I back Eric Ten Hag to pick the right team. I think if Rashford is in the team, we will go on, win tomorrow's match. I think he will score. That's my predictions in terms of any sort of preview. But anywhere thoughts, guys, get your thoughts into the comments. Fully interactive show as always. Very chilled out tonight. We're not going too stressed out. I want to know what you guys think. How do you feel about tomorrow's match? Would you like us to sign Mason Mount as well? Keep voting on the poll. Let me know your thoughts on that one, guys. And get the comments coming in. Floor is completely opened. All comments going to get read out. Let me know you guys' thoughts because that's what it's all about. I love talking to you guys on the channel here, on the lives, because everybody's got different opinions. Some people love Mason Mount, some people don't want Mason Mount. Some people want us to buy Harry Kane, some people don't. Let me know your thoughts down below. Every comment gets read out as well, and I will keep on bringing you guys the latest news whilst we wait for some more comments and stuff to come. So, obviously, Adrian Rabiot, a player who we have just put a comment into that about, apparently want to go back in for him. Now, whether or not it's a good signing, I don't know. I'm not sure, because whenever we look at Rabiot as a player, there's certainly quality there. He certainly does have ability. There's off-field issues. I think we've done well in the last couple of windows to get rid of players who any would deem toxic. I'm not sure if he's the right guy to bring in. Now, apparently the problem isn't with him, it's with his mother, who is his agent, who has waited outside the manager's dressing room, waited for them in the car park to shout at them for not playing Rabiot. I don't know, man. I don't know if we need that at the club. I think certainly a good player, technically good, very strong player, physically imposing, very good technical levels. Could be a decent signing. Little bit of news coming out as well from David Ornstein for you guys to react to, and that is regarding Mason Mount. So, let me just put that in there. It's annoying that I always have to trim these down just to fit them into the comments, but a number of hurdles must be cleared in relation to a deal for Mason Mount. United are prioritising the signing of a striker. There remains a lack of clarity of ownership. That obviously is a big one. The ownership, the takeover, where we're going as a club, will we be sold, who is buying us, will come down to a lot of things, because with that, we will know where we are as a club. We will know who the owner will be, what sort of money we will have to spend. Obviously, hurdles will have to be cleared. We have to agree a deal with Mount, a deal with Chelsea. That might not be an easy thing to do. When you think you're Todd Bowley and you've all the money you can spend, the guy who spent 600 million in 6 months at Chelsea. That guy isn't desperate for money. He doesn't need a lot of money coming in the Chelsea Football Club. He will fund it himself. So it's whether or not he is happy with the deal. That's what it'll come down to. Obviously, striker is a big one, and I'm glad that David Ornstein has said that and really reaffirmed that, because the striker is the most important position for United this year. If we go out and buy a top class, world class striker, that changes this team in so many ways. We create a lot of chances. Definitely, Lucky Singh has said as well in the comments, we have to be clinical in the box, transition, keep our concentration. Another comment in there saying, mum word, as well. Not too sure what that is. So apologies. I might have read that wrong. I actually do need glasses, but I don't wear them on the stream because the lights kind of just reflect off them. So it is a little bit hard for me to see things sometimes. So apologies for that, guys. But yeah, keep letting me know your thoughts. Keep voting on the poll as well. 30 votes. 67% of people are saying yes to Mason Mount. 33% are saying no. But if you guys haven't voted and you want to get your thoughts in, let me know on the poll as well. Any more thoughts, get them into the comments as well, guys. And as well, if you guys are new and you want to consider helping me out, helping the channel grow, please consider hitting that sub button. We are so close to 600 subscribers. The support is absolutely amazing from you guys, and I really, really appreciate all the support and love you guys have been giving across the lives, across the videos. Really does mean the world to me. But yeah, in terms of other signings, in terms of other news coming out from United, real quick, let me load this up and I will bring you guys the latest. Marcus Rashford should be back for the match tomorrow night against Chelsea. So Eric Ten Hag has spoke on Rashford's availability, and he has said, it looks like yesterday he returned to training. He looks fit. I have to see today what the outcome of training is, how do we to cover, and then we will make our choices. I think Rashford plays tomorrow. I think he will definitely be starting in tomorrow's match. No doubt about it in my mind. I certainly think Marcus Rashford will be back because the guy loves playing for United. We love Marcus Rashford at the club, and as well as that, I mean, you have a guy who played for Manchester United with a broken back. Marcus Rashford, if he is fit, if he is able to play, he will definitely be wanting to play in tomorrow's match. We have to. Oh yes, sorry, man. I actually do understand what you meant now. Lucky, I do apologize for that earlier. It's all about his mum's word. We have to convince her. Yes, we do. His mum is his agent. She apparently has a lot of trouble, and she's very, very demanding of clubs, of managers. She has fought with owners, fought with the managers before. She is very protective of her son, and she wants only the best for Rabiot. But often, what that does mean, what is the best for him can make him fall out with owners, make him fall out with managers. That's been a problem his whole career. Certainly a good player. There's a really, really good player in there, and there always has been. It's just whether or not that materializes, and it all depends. I think Eric Ten Hag, clearly there is a desire to see Rabiot at the club. There's definitely an interest. We've seen this for 2 windows. We'd never been linked to Rabiot before, and then 2 windows under Eric Ten Hag, we've wanted him both times. We were very close to signing him last year. Maybe we'll get him on a free this year. I think if he does come in on a free, it takes a lot of responsibility off. It means that there's not a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And I think using the free agent market could be a really good option this year. We've seen it work out very well last year when we got Christian Eriksen, of course. We could go out and do something similar this year. We could go out, maybe get a Rabiot, a Tielemans, maybe. Even Marco Verratti is apparently available on a free transfer from PSG. So certainly very good players on the free agent market. And we go and get somebody else? I certainly think so. And I think what that does would really stretch the budget out that little bit more. Because if we go into the free agent market and we bring in 2 good free agents, that means we have saved 50, 60 million on transfers, and we can go out, spend that extra money, striker or defender or something like that, be a better team for it. And I think that's a real possibility. That's something that we do have to look forward to. And I would strongly advocate for that. There's definitely a lot of good players who are available on free transfers. Tielemans could be a very good option if he comes in. Obviously a little bit injury prone, but if he is coming in on a free, there wouldn't be that sort of expectation on him, and he could settle in his own time at United. As well as that, probably looking at other players as well. But I do think free agents could be a real option. United. Rabiot could be potentially a decent signing. Time will tell where we will be going in the transfer window, but one thing is for sure, we will be covering every last detail on the channel here, every single news article and every single transfer will be covered in depth on the channel, so make sure you guys stick around for that. Please consider hitting that sub button. Very, very close to 600. An amazing achievement for everybody here. Really appreciate all the love support you guys have been giving. And yeah, just keep your thoughts coming. Keep voting on the poll as well in the comments. 66% of people want us to sign Mason Mount. I think people do want to see signings. I think people want to see players brought in. It's whether or not they're the right signings. United, in recent years, we've spent so much money on players who haven't worked out. I mean, think of Harry Maguire, man. £80 million for Harry Maguire, and the season before we could have signed Van Dijk for 70 million. I mean, so many bad signings. Of course, Evan Ferguson came out yesterday that United had him at a trial and we could have signed him. And now, if we want to buy him, we have to go out and pay 50 million. What we have to do is please, please, please get some proper directors in, get people in who know what they're doing, because we've been run by, dare I say, idiots for the last 10, 15 years. Lucky saying McTominay, Maguire, Martial, bench selling first. Yes, absolutely. Sell those players. And as well as that, Dean Henderson, a sub goalkeeper, and Nottingham Forest want to pay £30 million for him. I think that's a deal you have to take. You have to sell Dean Henderson £30 million if that offer comes in, because that allows you to do a lot more in the transfer window. That could be the difference in signing a good striker and a world-class striker. Do we need Dean Henderson? No. Should we sell him? Yes. And that's what it'll come down to. I think between Maguire, McTominay, Dean Henderson, and possibly Anthony Martial, you could get maybe £80 million total for them. And if you add that to, what, £150 million as our budget, that all of a sudden becomes 230 million. That is the difference between signing 2 or 3 good players and signing 2 or 3 world-class players. And we need players who are going to fit with the team. I don't think McTominay does. I don't think Harry Maguire does. I don't think Dean Henderson will fit in with attitude problems. I definitely think, in terms of overall sends, field, very important that we get the right players in. And I'm very hopeful of this transfer window. I think it will be exciting. I'm sure you guys are looking forward to it all as well. I'm definitely looking forward to covering everything on the channel. Some more comments in there. Weghorst is lucky saying, yes man, Wout Weghorst, what do we do with him? He could be available for like 5 million from Burnley. I don't think he's anywhere near good enough. And I don't think you guys do either. I mean, Weghorst, he works hard, but if I play for Man United, I would work hard and run as much as I could. Doesn't mean I'm a good player. Doesn't mean I'm good enough for United. Same with Weghorst. I think we need 2 strikers. I think we should let him go back to Burnley. They can sell him or keep him, do whatever they want. Obviously, the guy has made some great memories. Of course, we've seen him celebrating the League Cup very, very emotionally. And maybe he'll get his hands on an FA Cup as well. But I don't think Weghorst will be a long-term signing at United. But any more thoughts, keep getting them in, guys. Lucky Thing is a very good supporter of the channel. Always great in the comments. But anyone else with any thoughts, let me know as well. And keep voting on the poll. Who do you guys want to see us sign? Should we buy Mason Mount? Yes or no? That's the question. That is what we're asking in the poll. Because as we know, Mount tonight, David Ornstein, that United want to sign him for around 50-55 million. And as well as that, he wants to come. And I think that definitely is very interesting. Mount, a decent player, could be very good for United. Is he worth 50-60 million? No, he's not. But Man United are going to overpay everybody. It's United tax is real. We definitely pay more than every other club do, because it's kind of ridiculous. Like, everybody knows we have the money. Everybody knows we're very bad at negotiations, and eventually we will just pay it. I do think that it will be interesting. Mount could be a decent option, I guess, but there's better players out there. I'm sure you guys would much rather see Barella or maybe De Jong, Caicedo, McAllister, maybe Ruben Neves, better player than Mason Mount, in my opinion. But I do think, sorry, if he does come in, I think he can definitely offer something to the team. Be that little bit different, have a lot more work rate in our midfield. Could be a decent signing, could be a decent option. But it all depends. A lot depends on the budget. If you're telling me it's a choice between spending 50 million on a striker and buying Mount 60 million. We're spending 100 million on a striker. I'm taking the striker. I'm taking that option every single day of the week, and I'm sure you guys are as well. Um, that's just my thoughts. Keep letting me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Keep voting on the poll. 64% of people think we should sign Mason Mount. That's higher than I thought. I thought it would be pretty evenly split, but it does seem like people want to see Mount at Manchester United, and I think it could work. I think he's certainly a good player, not worth the sort of money touted for him. But in terms of what we have, I think he's better. I think he's better than McTominay. I think he's probably better than Fred. Um, does that mean he's a good fit for United? Should a player be signed based on whether they're better than McTominay and Fred? I don't know. I don't think so. But Mount could be an interesting option. As well as that, guys, just a quick recap on the main stories for tonight. So in terms of the takeover, Friday will be the big day for that, and make sure to join us on the channel for that, because on Friday the preferred bidder is meant to be named, and that means we're going to really move on with this whole takeover scenario. That means that all of a sudden we're going out with an idea of who might be our new owner. It won't be if buts, it won't be any more bidding stages. It will just be either QATAR or Jim Radcliffe in negotiations with the club, with the Glazers, with the Rain Group, and then we can be sold. And then we can get on with the rest of our lives without the Glazers at the club, hopefully. In terms of other news breaking in the comments, and as we've seen throughout the show, Diogo Dalot is very close to a new contract at Manchester United. That has come from Fabrizio Romano, so we can trust Romano. We all know the guy is Mr. Here we go, Mr. Reliable, and whenever he speaks on transfers, on players, we listen because he has proven that he is pretty much always right. So I do think Dalot, new contract. I think he deserves it. I think with 1 year left on his contract, he's a good player. He can play right back. He can obviously play left back as well. Very versatile, hardworking, passionate, knows the club, knows the players, fits in well, is clearly a popular player. I think Dalot staying at United, that's a good move for us as well. Obviously, the big talking points regarding Mason Mount. Tomorrow's match against Chelsea will be a massive match for United. Now, Eric Ten Hag has likened it to a cup final. He has said that it's a must-win match. We win that match, we're in the Champions League. Now, we only need 1 point. Eric Ten Hag has made it very clear throughout his entire time at Manchester United, the key to his beliefs and the key to our season has been that you have to win every match. The next match is always your most important. And it's an ethos I buy into. It's an ethos the players have bought into this season. Let's go out and beat Chelsea. If we beat Chelsea, beat Fulham at the weekend, we will finish 3rd place. Now, that is a good achievement. When you consider Eric Ten Hag walked into this football club 12 months ago, we had just come off our worst ever Premier League season. We finished, what, like 5th, 6th? We had like 53 points. Eric Ten Hag, he's got 69 points. Got 2 matches left. We can get to 75 points. They'll also have the FA Cup final. There is still a lot to play for this season. We will want to win every match for sure. But guys, can see some more people joining in. The stream is running on a little bit later because there's still plenty to get through. So keep your votes coming on the poll. Anyone just joining there, should Man United sign Mason Mount? Yes or no? At the moment, 66% of people are saying yes. Now that's a little bit higher than I had previously envisaged. Anybody else joining in? If you want to get your comments in, floor is completely open. All comments get read out. We always talk and engage with you guys because that's what it's all about. Otherwise, it could just be me sitting talking to a camera for what, like an hour? That's not fun for anybody. I love your guys' thoughts and I love the comments, so keep them coming. Lucky Singh says we are looking to win tomorrow. Yes, absolutely. Eric Ten Hag will want to win. Players will want to win. The fans want to win. We go up against Chelsea. Chelsea are what, like 13th in the league? They've won 1 match under Frank Lampard so far this season. We have to go out and win. Another comment in there from Lucky saying our players, yes, of course they will want to win as well. Because at the end of the day, if they go out and beat Chelsea, beat Fulham, we finish 3rd place. And that means they might have an extra week of holiday. So they definitely will be looking forward to that. An extra week in the sun will be good for those guys. They've earned it this season. Let's finish the season off with a bang. Beat Chelsea, beat Fulham, go into the FA Cup final against Man City. A massive match. We can't let City win that one. We have to go out, make sure that City do not do a treble, because I think they'll win the Champions League this year. I think they'll beat Inter Milan, but I think United, I think we can beat them. We've shown it this season. We beat them at Old Trafford. It can be done. United know what to do. Erik ten Hag knows what to do. Let's see if we can do it in the FA Cup final. Of course, up first comes tomorrow. We have to go in with all expectations of beating Chelsea. We cannot go in saying we only need a draw, we only need a point. Because what we need to do now is build momentum. If we can have a strong end to the season, we can go on and have a very good year next year. Because, well, we've won the last two matches. We beat Wolves, we beat Bournemouth. Let's go beat Chelsea, beat Fulham. That'll be 4 wins in a row. And if we can win the FA Cup, what a boost that could be. And momentum is a real thing in football. Even across a summer break, even across different seasons, momentum can be key. Absolutely. I do think that is a reason why Liverpool have struggled this season. Is a lot of their morale went last year, obviously losing Champions League final, losing the league on the last day. Morale, momentum cannot be underestimated, cannot be understated. But guys, can see some more people joining in. Welcome to the stream, welcome to the channel. If you guys want to let me know your thoughts in the comments, get them in down below. We are running a poll as well. Should Man United sign Mason Mount? Now, 62% of people have said yes. Now, that number's come down. Originally, it was like, what, 100% of people from the first couple of votes. Far more balanced. I think this is definitely an accurate representation of what you guys think, of where you feel as fans. But let me know. Keep voting on that one. 39 votes at the moment. Let's see a couple more votes go in as well. There's still some more stuff to cover. Still some things we want to get through on the stream tonight. So, Dalot, new contract. Mason Mount potentially coming to United. We've talked about the takeover. We've talked about the transfer news. And we've even talked about the Chelsea match tomorrow. But there's still some more news coming out of United tonight. Now, apologies. My hay fever is really bad. Like, allergies hit them, man. Absolutely hit them. But there is still news coming out of Manchester United. Even at 9:15 at night, UK time, United, we are still making the headlines. So just let me pull this up real quick for you guys, just to cover it all in depth. So I believe there are still some more quotes coming out from Erik ten Hag. Obviously, talking about the availability of Rashford, that is something we have just covered, of course. Mason Mount leaning towards United, we've covered that as well. Rabiot could be a potential option. Yes, this is what we wanted to cover. This is coming out from Fabrizio Romano. Now, as we know, United need a striker. We need to buy somebody to score us some goals. We create enough chances, but we have Weghorst and Martial. It's not good enough. We need somebody better to come in, lead the line, score some goals for this team. Now, is Victor Osimhen that man? I don't know. I think he certainly scores a lot of goals if he comes. But as Romano has said, Victor Osimhen will cost upwards of £150 million. Oh, that is insane. The only players who have went for that sort of money are Neymar and Mbappe. Now, Osimhen is a great player, definitely a great goal scorer, fantastic for Napoli this season. Is he worth 150 million? Absolutely not. And we've seen this before with Napoli. This is something that they do. They tend to put ridiculous price tags on their players, and that means that clubs can't go out and sign them. It's the reason why Koulibaly took so long to leave Napoli. It was because they wanted 90 million for him throughout his prime years. He finally left. He went to Chelsea, and he struggled because he's probably too old. What do we do with Osimhen? I don't know. Like, I think Osimhen could be fantastic. Really good player. Pete Morris says, Euros. Yes, apologies. I did misread that. Actually, I'm not wearing my glasses because the lights flash off them and it's like really distracting for you guys. So it is Euros, yes. So in terms of pounds, you're probably talking what, like 125 million. I'm not too sure on exchange rates, but I do know that it's a lot of money regardless. Probably too much. I think if we have 150 million to spend, I think that kind of money is probably too much to spend on one player. Even though we desperately need a striker, I think other areas need attention as well. Midfield definitely one. Defense, we need more defenders, especially if Maguire is going to go. That means that we need another centre back, and there's still question marks over the goalkeeping situation. I do expect us to go out and buy a goalkeeper. I think Probably a young goalkeeper, somebody to come in who can challenge in the future, and De Gea probably stays as number one. I don't think we're going to break the bank unlike Diogo Costa or David Raya. I might be wrong. I might be surprised by that one, but that's just my thoughts. Any more thoughts, guys? Get them into the comments. Let me know down below. Been a great stream. Been great talking to you guys, and we will keep it running for another while as well. So, obviously, talking Victor Osimhen to Napoli. To United from Napoli, 150 million euros and upwards. That's crazy talk. That is crazy, crazy, crazy money. Um, Eric Ten Hag talking about project. He says we are still in a journey. We have made the right direction, but because we can always be better, good is not good enough. So I do agree with Eric Ten Hag. He's a perfectionist. He wants more from this United team, and I think it all ties in to one big picture. I think all the issues, the on-field issues, the off-field issues, transfer windows, um, takeovers, I think it all feeds into one another. Everything, it's very interconnected. We do tend to look at things as separate branches, but what happens in terms of the takeover directly affects the transfer window. It then goes on to directly affect players we bring in, and that impacts on what we can do on the pitch. Everything is very interconnected. And in my opinion, it all starts from the top and goes down. That it all starts off with this takeover. I think that's the big thing at United at the moment. We have been running polls all week in terms of who you guys want to see as the owners of United. Pretty much every poll has been topped emphatically and decisively by Qatar. I know that you guys certainly do think there's a lot of potential in Qatari ownership, that there's a lot of positives. Obviously, there's things we have to consider in terms of the morality and stuff of it, but I mean, other clubs do seem to get a eyeball by it. There's not much said about Newcastle Saudi ownership, not much said about City's ownership. It's whether or not you guys are happy enough with that. I don't know. I'm still quite undecided, but I'm sure you guys have plenty of thoughts on that one. It will certainly be an interesting time. I think what Qatar could achieve with United could be absolutely fantastic. I've said it all week. You think of what Radcliffe could achieve in 5 years with Qatari's level of investment, you're probably looking at 1 to 2 years. And I think that's a big difference. I think that certainly could be something that is winning a lot of hearts and minds. But any more thoughts, guys, get them into the comments down below. Keep letting me know your thoughts and keep voting on the poll. Mason Mount still ahead. 60% of you guys want to see Mount signed for Manchester United. But keep voting on that one. Keep letting me know your thoughts down below. And we'll have a quick recap of everything on the stream because plenty of people are joining in. And we have been streaming for, what, an hour and 15 minutes? So the main talking points of tonight, just in a summary. First of all, Mason Mount to United. This comes from David Ornstein, has said United are in talks with Chelsea. Mason Mount is open to the idea and he is leaning towards signing United. So he's interested. United are interested. Eric Ten Hag seems to want him. That is further backed up by Jacob Steinberg. He has said that United will offer around 60 million for Mason Mount. So that's looking like something's going to happen there. In terms of the takeover, the big one, Friday will be a big day. Now, make sure to join us live on the channel for that one. What happens on Friday is a preferred bidder is expected to be named, and that means they will go into private negotiations with the Glazers, the Rain Group, set a final price, pay that price, and hopefully very quickly we can have a new ownership at United. In terms of other news breaking tonight, we have rumours from Romano has said that Eric Ten Hag sees Harry Kane as the perfect striker and would love him at Manchester United, but it all depends on doing a deal with Daniel Levy. Always something that is very, very hard to do. That man drives a hard bargain, and this will be no different, in my opinion. Other than that, Diogo Dalot is very close to a new contract at United, of course, coming from Fabrizio Romano. Again, let me know your thoughts on that one, guys. Do you think Dalot or Wan-Bissaka could be United's right back moving forward? I think a new contract for Dalot, I think that indicates that Eric Ten Hag has a lot of faith in him, a lot of belief. I think Dalot could be the number one right back from next season. Obviously, it's kind of changed this year. It was all Dalot at the start of the year, and then Wan-Bissaka came in, great performances, really picked up form. Other than that, we're looking at the Chelsea match tomorrow. Eric Ten Hag has said we're in a journey, but we think we're in the right direction. It can always be better, and good is not good enough. He has also hinted that Rashford could return to the Manchester United side tomorrow. So big match tomorrow. We will be live after the match, of course, as well for a live reaction. My thoughts, your guys' thoughts, and of course the latest news coming out on Manchester United. So any more thoughts, guys, let me know in the comments. I think I'm going to leave the stream here because my voice is going. So if you guys really want to support the channel, please consider hitting that sub button. Helps me out so much. Very close to 600. So the support has been amazing this week. Absolutely unbelievable. Really appreciate it all, guys. And yeah, we're just going to leave it there. So thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow.